voicemail@foxnews.com.
My next guests were instrumental in the creation of the moral majority back in 1979 and in the group's role in helping elect President Ronald Reagan. Dr. Beverly and her husband, Dr. Tim Lahaye, he's been named one of the 25 most influential evangelicals in America. He's also the co-author of the Left Behind series that 60 million people have read. And he's got a brand new book called The Edge of the Apocalypse. They join me now. Dr. Lahaye, I want to begin by asking, do you see some similarities between the Jimmy Carter era and what's happening now that was the basis for the moral majority being formed?
Very definitely, because Jimmy Carter didn't seem to know what was going on or what to do to solve the problem. Our present president doesn't seem to get it. He doesn't understand that some of the things he's introducing that many of us call raw socialism. It's a different name, but it's essentially government control and government domination of everything. And he sees that as a panacea, but instead it's going to work against our country and bring us closer to the apocalypse.
Dr. Beverly Lahaye, you started one of the most amazing organizations, the largest grassroots organization, and a rather credible source had this to say about you. I want to roll the tape.
Just a few short years, you've become the largest politically active women's organization in the nation. A lot of the credit, of course, has to go to one woman. She's one of the powerhouses on the political scene today, and one of the reasons that the grassroots are more and more a conservative province. Beverly Lahaye is changing the face of American politics, and she deserves our thanks and congratulations.
Now, that's a pretty good affirmation, I think, from President Reagan. You were involved in a way in which, at that time, women, and more specifically conservative women, were not that involved, particularly women who may have thought, well, that's just something I don't want to get involved in. Are you seeing a real resurgence of conservative women this year and overall in the climate involved?
Very, very definitely, yes. You know, when we started in 1979, our Christian women didn't have a voice in America. Today, we've got many women who are in office, both federal, state, local, and we've got many women who are now running for office. So there's been a definite change, and women are able to speak out for their family values that they really believe in.
Dr. Lahaye, you have written so many books. The Left Behind series obviously has been one of the most amazing phenomena. 60 million copies of those books have come out. You've written 70 books. I don't know how in the world you ever do that. But the theme of many of them is biblical prophecy. Are we now living in the end times from your perspective?
Very definitely, Governor. I believe that what we see around us, for example, the three major issues of our day are the global government, global economy, and global religion. And those are the three legs of the stool of globalism. And it happens at the same time that Israel just happens to be back in their land for the first time in almost 1900 years, at the same time that Russia and the Islamic nations are getting together. They've never done that in the history of the world. And yet now they're the enemies of this country that God said he'd bring back into the land.
Why is it even important that we care about biblical prophecy? I mean, there are a lot of people who say, all I want to talk about is what's happening now. I don't want to read about what somebody wrote so many hundreds or thousands of years ago.
Well, prophecy is such a supernatural thing. It's really history written in advance. Only God can forecast the history of the future and have it come to pass. And he has done that in the Bible over 1,000 times. 500 times have already been fulfilled. For example, he told Daniel that there would be 4 world empires. That's 2,500 years ago. And here we are, counting in the history books, there have only been 4 world empires until we're getting ready for the last would-be world governor. And then, of course, there are many other signs. For example, Jesus. There have been all kinds of Christ and false teachers and would-be prophets. And how do we know that Jesus is one of a kind? Because he has fulfilled more prophecies. There are 109 messianic prophecies, as you well know, in the Old Testament. And Jesus has fulfilled them all. No one else has even come close. I would say the most anyone has fulfilled is maybe 8 or 9. and yet Jesus fulfilled them all. So that we don't wonder if he is the one and only Messiah. He's proven that by history.
Dr. Bev, I know we only have about 20 seconds left, so I just got to ask you, do you think that we will see the same kind of dramatic political turn this year that you saw in 1980?
All indications prove that that's going to happen. All across America, the women that are with Concerned Women for America, we've got over 500,000 women, and some men too, are really upset, they're disappointed, they're angry, and they want to make a change and get our country back again. So yes, I think it's going to change.
Well, I thank you both for being here. I love you both. You're two of the most wonderful people I know, and I count you dear friends, but also great leaders. I hope that you'll have a chance to take a look at the book, Tim LaHaye and Craig Parshall. It's called The Edge of Apocalypse, and if you've loved the other books, and obviously a lot of people have, you're going to love this one, available on Amazon. We also have Dr. LaHaye's websites that are available on the screen as well. Now, we have asked you to send us your thoughts on the president's performance.